Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests. We have Mr. Eric Harp. He is our certified professional fitness trainer and also our educator. Listen, guys, we are going to talk about movement and arthritis today, but we got to talk current topics and we got some heavy stuff to talk about. So
We do.
Mr. Harp, let's start with Ralph Yarrow, the 16-year-old young man who was in Kansas City, Missouri, I believe. His mother had asked him to pick up his siblings. He went to a house that had the same number address, but the wrong street. A man felt that this child who's 16, who's not 6 feet tall, nor is he over 170 pounds, was a threat to him for ringing his locked door bell. So let me rephrase that. He rang the doorbell at his house where his door was locked. He pulled his gun, shot through his locked door, and then walked out on the porch and shot the child again and said, "And don't come back around here." Yes, he's 84. Yes, you can put him in jail and he can sit there and he can rot. I'm really angry right now because there's a whole lot of stuff that I can say. I have a 14-year-old. I have a 10-year-old. You have a Anthony is
17-year-old.
He's 17. He's 17. And so we're looking at this. Where can we go? We just had a mass shooting in Tennessee where young people were just executed. 3 legislators who decided to make a stance, protest, bring attention after young people protested on the Capitol steps and were arrested by police for being disorderly. These 2 African-American male legislators were expelled from the legislature, while the white woman legislator, I don't even know if she was censored, but it was just like, we're going to loop you in, but we're not going to do anything to you. Go ahead, Mr. Hart. I'll let you start with that.
Well, listen, I just noticed, that during the intro, and thank you for that very welcome intro. Thank you for having me. I was smiling on that, but as soon as we went into our first topic, no more smiling.
Mm-hmm.
This country is just, our country is just flipped upside down, and there's no sense to be made out of it. No, every communication that we have, we're talking about a shooting. We're talking about a shooting. Let's not forget his name, Ralph Yarrow. And Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter too. Black Lives Matter also. Fortunately, thank God, he's not dead.
Yes.
He was shot in the head and shot again.
In his arm.
In his arm. And he's not dead. And I hope he makes a full recovery. Pray he makes a full recovery.
And he plays the bass clarinet. He is
fantastic musician.
Yes.
Fantastic musician.
He had just won a state competition or was recognized at the state level. This is a good kid. This isn't one of the bad kids that we talk about.
This older brother was going to pick up his younger twin siblings. He was doing a family duty.
You as an older brother, you would know that. You had younger siblings.
Just out there doing what he does for the family. And made a mistake. Made a mistake and pulled up to the wrong house. Rung the doorbell. Now, none of that is out of the ordinary, illegal, none of that. So why did he get shot for it? He gets shot because he's a young Black man. So that's what part of the charges are for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, they got the illegal discharge of a weapon and all of the other charges, but that racial component, let's not talk about the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm. And let me add, Mr. Hart, so after Andrew Lester, the white man, 84 years old, shot him twice.
Mm-hmm.
Ralph Yarrow got up and ran
for help, ran
to
other
3 houses. And it wasn't until he got to the third house. Yes, Mr. Hart. It wasn't until he got to the third house that he's begging for help. He is bleeding. He's literally dying. And whoever it was said, no, you have to lay down on the ground and put your hands while you are bleeding with a bullet hole to your head and a bullet hole to your arm. And the woman who was there said she realized that this was somebody's child. Did you? Or were you going to turn him away because of your racism? We have to talk about, in this country, white people are racist. Listen. Everything is about color. Everything is about color. When you say black, you criminalize it. I'm sorry, Mr. Harp. I'm about to get on my...
There's no way
I'm angry.
To interrupt your flow. No way I'm trying to interrupt your flow. I'm just going to be honest. I'm sitting here shaking. I was in tears when I heard this story. Mm-hmm. Because my kid wants to make money doing some DoorDash.
Hello?
Wants to make money Ubering.
Mm-hmm. What happens if he shows up to the wrong house? Are you going to shoot somebody? Amazon driver.
How I'm trying to talk him out of it. He don't understand where I'm coming from. Right. I mean, this is that generational thing, of course. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to watch. It's hard to stomach.
It's very hard.
It's hard to stomach. I mean, and this is just one story.
Mm-hmm. Just one.
Of many. Mm-hmm. Just one, weekly, daily. Now, let me flip it a little bit, because we just talked about those the massacre in Tennessee.
Tennessee, yes.
In our last conversation on air, we mentioned that shooting, it had just happened. Mm-hmm. And so in the midst of it, these Democrat, I think it was 2 Democrats and 1 Republican, I believe, what have you, but 2 black men, 1 white woman. Yeah. Led a protest, a peaceful, calm, quiet protest, but it was at the Capitol.
Yes.
And after that January 6th, how dare you have any kind of protest at the Capitol? Mm-hmm. So now it's supposedly apples to apples, but it's not, of course. It's not. But Capitol to Capitol, protest, let's put it in that category. Mm-hmm. So these 3 leaders of this protest were expelled. 2 of them were expelled, I should say, because they kept the white woman. Mm-hmm. And, we could say what we say had it not been for her on air confessing.
Yes.
They kept me because I'm white. Mm-hmm. That was a dagger. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just one of those, see, I told you so. Mm-hmm. In a state like Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So we're set back another 100 years, set back another 50, 60, 70 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. These lawmakers are out there doing their thing, trying to change laws. And that's what we need, is change in these gun laws. Because we can't get it in not one state. And the highest murder rates are in these Republican states.
Yes, they are.
The highest murder rates are in these Republican-led states. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans are refusing to do anything about guns. They just want to arm more teachers. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about that, because you and I were just briefly mentioning that. Please go ahead, Indiana.
So Indiana today, I just read that they are passing legislation to allow teachers to carry guns in the classroom. They want this. You know, Mr. Harp, this is a narrative that we keep hearing across the country. And just in Detroit this past weekend, we had several shootings. And the first thing that everybody said, well, you know, if they had good guys with guns, I'm like, there's enough guns on the street. How many more mass shootings do we have to have where babies and old people are killed? Number one. Number two, this is not a movie. This is not the Wild Wild West. People can stand on their soapbox all day long and sit there and say, well, you know, if the good people had a gun. No.
I'm sorry, I'm smiling. I'm not smiling because it's funny. I'm not smiling at all because it's funny. I'm smiling because what can we do?
Right.
Okay. I'm sure that all the people with guns think they're the good guys.
They do. So do criminals. Criminals never think they're going to get caught.
I'm sure that man who laid bullets into Ralph Yarl,
yes,
thought he was a good guy.
Sure did.
So this argument holds no water.
None at all.
So this argument holds no water at all. You got a gun, you got a gun. You can either be good or bad, depending on what you're going to do with that gun.
You
don't have the gun, you don't have to worry about it. Well, you could be bad, but you ain't got to be bad with a gun. You can be good, but you don't have to be good with a gun. Let's just take the guns out of the equation. People tell me it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people.
Then take people away. Make everybody stay at home like we did in COVID, because then we were safer. Because I'm sorry, I don't like going around people. I don't. And you know, Mr. Hart, we've had this conversation. My circles are tight now. I only like to go certain places and be around certain people. And I know that sounds bad, but my thing is, I could be in a stadium. I could be in a mall. I could be in a restaurant. It could be my favorite restaurant. And I'm sorry, I'm not talking about McDonald's, Applebee's, Olive Garden. I'm talking about 5-star restaurants. And I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying, when I save up my little pennies and I go get my $80 steak, that's what I want. But if everybody gets to carry a gun, guess what? Somebody could be in a steakhouse and say, you didn't make my steak right. And they start shooting people.
Say that again.
Start shooting people. Listen, we were just talking about teachers. You're a teacher. I have several friends that are teachers. I listen to y'all vent about what it's like to teach in today's classroom. I see videos that people send me. I just saw one where this girl wanted to fight the teacher, and it's on video. And the teacher is screaming, get a teacher, get a teacher. And the kids are just standing around filming it. Can you imagine?
I'm sorry. I keep smiling, and not because it's funny, it's because it's
crazy,
real and ridiculous.
Exactly. So what would have happened if that teacher had a gun and that child had got that teacher's gun? How many kids in that classroom would have been shot? Would the teacher have survived? Because there's a security guard in Greektown who tried to defuse a fight about some people cutting in line in Detroit, and somebody pulled his gun out and shot him over that. That's BS. And not even what I want to say, but it's BS. Somebody else, it shot somebody over a drink. I'm like, come on, people. We have women, and I'm all over the place now. We have women who go out, who will tell a guy, oh, no, thank you, I'm not interested. I'm with someone. They will pull a gun out and shoot you. Where are the good guys? Because I don't see any good guys. I'll tell you the good guy that I saw. You remember on January 6th, the brother, the security guard who led all them crazy people away from the legislature? That was a good guy. And not once did he pull his gun out. Not once.
Listen, we definitely have to do something about the guns. You know, today I saw a good image, a great image. All of those teens marching in support of Ralph Yarl. Throughout North Carolina, I believe it was. All colors. All colors. But teenagers.
Mm-hmm. They get it.
16 and 17-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for us that can remember that time in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
that we were right on the doorstep of something big, that you,
Mm-hmm.
oh, soon as I graduate high school, I have no idea what I'm about to do, but
I sense a change.
but something is about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's that feeling.
Yep.
And I'm sad that that young man, Ralph Yar's, been denied that.
Mm-hmm.
Like several other innocent men,
Mm-hmm.
young men and women
Mm-hmm.
who've had their lives taken away at this tender age. But
His
again,
innocence is gone.
the sense of numbness
And anger at the continuing, pervasive, just evil. Because that's what this guy is. I'm going to call him evil. I am. There's a 20-year-old woman today, white girl, who was in a car with some friends in upstate New York. They were looking for someone's house. They were out in the rural part of the state where they only have dirt roads. Mr. Harp, you know, you live several places, and you know you drive places looking for somebody's address, and you're like, oh, I can't find. Well, is this the right one? But you back out. They were backing out. And what happened? Another evil white man shot at the car and killed this girl.
Yep.
But we want to say it's mental health. No, it's evil. I'm gonna call it what it is.
Listen, let's just be real. You and I grew up 2 houses down from each other.
Sure did.
If a car pulled up in the driveway to turn around because it made a mistake, oops, I came the wrong way. It happened.
It did. We sit in the driveway and go, oh, that's a nice car. What kind of car is that? Right.
Listen, I've done it. In fact, I did it last week.
I just did it this weekend.
I did it last week. I had to pull, oh, I'm on the wrong street.
Mm-hmm.
You know, today we have this wonderful thing called GPS.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if your phone service is working, you got it all the time. If your car has it, then it's going to tell you turn by turn. But, my phone battery's a little low. I don't have that GPS in my car or my radio. So let me see. I know the area. I've been over here before. It was over here. It was over here. I think, you know, you start driving a little slow down the street. What was that house? Was it blue? Was it next to that house? I'm doing that sometimes. Especially driving at night. You're like, wait a minute. Where's that address? Where's that address? Where's that address? Okay, there it is. You know? But this is just normal life. It's normal life driving at night. You know? And if you like, and if you, like me or you, they gotta wear some of these.
Exactly. You pull your glasses out and you're like, oh, where?
Oh my goodness. Listen, I'm just sick of the senseless loss of life. And then the stupid excuses too.
Yes.
But what? I didn't, he didn't, he deserved it. She didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Like, you did it. Okay. And once you pull that trigger, that bullet cannot come back.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Now, before I get way too depressed and get angry, let me finish this up. Let me change the subject all the way.
Okay.
Donald Trump, your boy Donald Trump.
And we got to talk about the leaker, the 21-year-old leaker.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But Donald Trump, that heat is catching up to his butt.
It sure is.
That candle flame is coming. And I mean, I want to see it. Trust me, I want to see it for the pure entertainment value. I mean, you know, I don't, for whatever that sounds like, because he deserves whatever.
Absolutely. Central Park 5. Come
on, I want to see justice. I want to see justice work. Okay. I don't want to see a billionaire get off over, you know, some pat him on the back.
Right.
No, I want to see this happen. He's got way too many things in the pot. you know, and it's Alvin Bragg, you know, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
liking this DA. I'm liking this Manhattan DA, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm liking Fannie Willis. You
Right.
know?
They gunning for him.
Trump
They
don't want to mess with these black prosecutors. They not scared of him.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Not at all.
You know, they're not scared of him. Like, what is he going to do to them?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever Jim Jordan in Congress is trying to do to Alvin Bragg, he just turned around and sued him.
Exactly.
He said, "Now, you can't use your government money on this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You better go ahead and reach in your salary
Exactly.
and pay for your legal defenses
Mm-hmm.
because it's against the law for."
Exactly.
I mean, and this is how they keep breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they want to use their campaign funds for their legal funds. They want to use campaign funds for fixing up their house.
Mm-hmm.
So Clarence Thomas is caught up in some.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You done sold your mama's house. You up here partying on yachts with people and taking campaign hush money. It's like, dude, seriously?
And then you change the movie way?
Right. But you supposed to be so much better, and you didn't have to. You pulled yourself up by your bootstraps, and you this and you that. Anita Hill never lied. Anita Hill told the truth. She said everything that we needed to know about him, and no one listened to her.
Well, you know, now on the flip side, this gonna set us back another 50 years.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because, dude, here we go with Clarence Thomas being the guy.
Right.
Who's swindling people.
Uh-huh.
He's not disclosing. He gonna get caught up for the tax stuff. And oh my goodness. We can't win.
We can't win. So let's talk about this 21-year-old guy who decided he was going to give secrets away. Because I kept waiting. I kept saying, oh, it's Donald Trump. This is that Mar-a-Lago stuff. All that stuff that he took down there and they couldn't figure out where it was. I said, oh, that's Donald Trump. They about to get him. And then they came up with this 21-year-old kid. And I said, really? I said, how does a 21-year-old kid have a serious security? Exactly. Right. You know, but I'm like, why does he have security clearance? And then they came
family up. We'll set your family up for life, but you gonna take the
fall. Right. I'm just like, really? Like, oh, this is crazy. Just crazy to me.
So this thing on the internet. I mean, Discord.
Yes.
I mean, this stuff I don't mess with, but
my sons do. This is how they talk to their friends. So when they mentioned it, I was like, oh, I know that app. This is the app that they use, because this is the app that you had before you actually got a phone. So if you just had like a computer, or you just had a basic phone, like a basic Android phone instead of an iPhone or a Samsung, then you could download Discord and they could go in there and have little conversations. I was like, oh, this is the incel group that he's in. Okay.
Well, all right. So now my little 21-year-old military friends got these secrets with all of this stuff, and he's posting this stuff online. All right. Now, sounds simple.
Right.
Now he caught.
Exactly.
And now he about to get his life turned upside down.
Absolutely.
And it hasn't happened yet, but the media storm that's about to assault him and his family is about to, you know, this guy will never live it down.
Right.
For the rest of his days.
Yes.
Because this is treason. This is going against your country.
Absolutely.
But he's 21. Our 70-some-odd-year-old 45th president.
He good and grown.
Good and grown. With documents. He got True Social where he doing his little thing. Not Discord, but same thing. Let's put this all in the same arena.
Right.
He's doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, this our 70-some-odd-year-old 45th president gets caught with all these documents, and it's almost, let's make an excuse for him.
Absolutely.
Oh, he wasn't going to do anything with that. Oh, he's entitled to that. He unclassified it anyway. It's just ridiculous. And for Trump, it was more like a trophy.
Absolutely, it was.
Something to hang on the wall like a hunting trophy. Like, look what I have national secrets. I have classified top secret documents. You know, that only my eyes were supposed to see. You know, and same braggadocious moment, because that's for that thrill. That's for that excitement. You know? But this 21-year-old is about to definitely feel the wrath of the United States versus whoever his name is. But he's definitely about to feel the wrath of it. And unfortunately, it's going to take away all the drama from Fox and the Dominion, because Fox just settled with Dominion.
Yes.
So instead of going to court, they're going to pay $780 million.
I know, I saw that. Unbelievable number.
Unbelievable number. And they have to get on the air and confess. We lied.
Right.
We lied. We knew we were lying. They got to do all that. And so that's going to be kind of interesting. So I'm going to be watching Fox tonight. I want to see Hannity do it. I want to see Waters do it. I want to see Laura Ingraham do it. I want to see all of them say, we.
I want to see Tucker Carlson, because that fool lies like he drinks Kool-Aid. Like he tells lies, just like every other word out of his mouth is a lie. You know, but there is so much, Mr. Harp, you know, but we know that as much as there is strife in the world and ignorance and anger and evil, God still sits on a throne. And so
that's right.
You know, we have to keep our faith where our faith is supposed to be. You know, love on your children, hug your children, tell those that you love them, because you never know when it will be the last time, just because of the world that we live in.
Listen, love is the first commandment, right? Love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul.
That's right.
And the second commandment is love your neighbor.
Your neighbor.
Love yourself. So love. Okay? But we're not loving.
Not at all.
We're not loving.
Not at all.
Even in the name of love. We're not loving. And, you know, it's been the downplay of our, you know, society. You know, the spiral has been going down forever. Since we just can't love each other. You know, and it goes way beyond skin color, religion, these generational hates. This, you know, when we talk about systemic racism, generational hate, the hate that's taught through generations. People don't even know why they hate. They just hate because they've always hated. Why do you hate that? I've always hated it.
Right. But you don't even know why you hate. You just
don't even know a thing about it or why you hate it. You just hate it because
my mama said we supposed to hate them people. And then her mama told her we supposed to hate them people. Okay.
So now we in fear. We in fear because of hate. You know, and then we full circle back into the guns, shooting and killing.
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is also, you know, the 10th anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yes.
And you know, as I think back, we have a bombing every decade.
We do.
We have shootings every day now. We have a bombing every decade. And, you know, this is almost like we can't win.
No.
And it's America. America. I don't hear France doing this. France is fighting over the retirement age. That's the biggest story in France.
That's right. It's not England. It's not Japan. Right. It's not China. It's not even in Africa. Even even in countries where they have war zones, they're fighting over other things. They're not just having guns just to have guns. that is an American phenomenon. But as people, as historians that I know have said, Kim, this country was founded in violence. That's
Wasn't
what
it?
we, yes.
Wasn't
Think
it,
about
though?
it. Think
It
about
was.
it.
That's how exactly how it was. It was founded,
In violence.
developed.
In
It
violence.
was even dreamed of.
In violence. That's right.
In violence.
You massacred almost an entire nation of people that were here, took something that did not belong to you, went over to Africa, brought us all over here because you were too lazy to work for yourself and you needed somebody to work for you, and then want to turn around and tell us that we're not worthy. But now that here we are and everybody's like, well, why can't we just get over it? Really? Native American people are still quarantined, or not quarantined, but they're still parceled off on yes, unrecognized, on reservations. Yeah, they have casinos. That's not every Native American person. And the Native American people that I've met, if you mention that they have any white ancestry, they are furious. Just absolutely furious. If you think about the indoctrination that went into their children, where they wanted them to cut their hair, to stop speaking their language, to not believe the way that they believe, and they wanted to just make them a cookie cutter, which is the same thing that I hear in conversations, and I work in higher education, in conversations with people. Well, Kim, and someone just said this to me, and he said, he's an alum, and he said, Kim, all white people are racist. And I said, tell me why you say that. He said, because we all talk about Black people. We all say, well, if they would just work hard, and if they would just do what they needed to do, they could be like us. I said, but we are. I said, some of us surpass y'all. I said, some of us have more money, more influence, more everything than you'll ever have. I'm in a graduate program, and I had an encounter with some young white people, and I was in a swimming pool, just a hot tub. I needed a minute because I have a lot on my plate. And folks were looking down at me, and I'm like, you can look down at me if you want to. You look like a hillbilly. You don't even understand that the water is heated by a heater. The statement was, well, it was hot all day. That's why the water is hot. We were in a hot tub, Eric. I can't make that up. And
so the sun just boiled the water.
The sun just boiled the water. The water was boiling. You know, a hot tub. Yeah. You push a button, and so I'm like, this is mechanically done. But you know what? There are times when, as Black people, we don't feel like educating folk. We don't feel like having to explain the world. Exactly. And it has gotten to the point that even when because as an African-American person in a leadership position, when you sit at the table, you are the voice for others. And it is exhausting explaining to people, well, why do you understand slavery and systemic racism? There is no such thing as systemic racism. This is the greatest country in the world. Really? Do Black people not get killed by police? I was told white people are killed 4 times as much. I said, did you throw a box point at me? I was like, wow.
We're talking about per 100,000
people. Exactly. I'm like, of course, more white people are. There's more of you. We are the minority. We don't even make up 20% of the population in the entire nation. Latino, Hispanic, the Arabic population, heck, even the Pacific Asian Americans outnumber us.
Sometimes we have to put it in perspective, okay? Now, see, death rate is about dying. The murder rate is about being murdered. So, you know, sometimes, you know, people want to smudge the line, want to smudge information to make it look like what we want it to look like. You know, we can definitely slant information, funnel information to make it look exactly how he wanted to look. Numbers don't lie.
No, they don't.
Listen, the point is, yes, there is systemic racism, and there's always been racism. And just as this country was founded on violence, it has been racist.
That's right.
Ever since. Okay. And we didn't invent racism. America didn't invent racism. However, has definitely mastered it.
Yep.
And though this country is quote unquote a melting pot, the world is a melting pot. Okay. And the world is represented in America. Okay. Now back to New York City, the world is represented in New York City.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But their gun violence is lower than other places around the country, and they have more people per capita square mile.
And so they're doing a great job. Their police department, listen, there's no police department that's perfect. There's no city, state, or anything that does not have a murder. Okay. For those states or cities or counties or even community townships that want to say, we only have. It's everywhere. Okay. Guns are everywhere. Okay. Drugs are everywhere. All right. What we need is God to be everywhere.
Absolutely.
Okay. We do this all the time, and I love it because we go on and on and on and on and on, and we'll do this again the next time.
Yeah.
But we definitely need more God presence. Okay. God is everywhere. God just gotta let him in. Just gotta let him in. But instead of arming teachers with guns, as a teacher, that scares me to death. I do pre-K to 8th grade. Okay. Little kid get near me and I have a gun? No. Little kid try to find out, where's Mr. Harp keep this? Where does Mr. Harp keep this?
Because that's what kids do. That's what
they do. I'm like, I got to make sure all my stuff is in my bag.
Because they will go in your bag and get stuff.
Did you see me pull something out my lunch bag? Stay away from my lunch bag.
Mr. Harp, I saw you with them gummy bears. I like gummy bears. I want some gummy bears. Some trolling. Yep.
Of course. So that scares me to death. To know that another faculty member is walking around with a gun. And I heard you in the staff lounge talking about how your weekend was.
Exactly.
Nah.
Nah.
We all walk around with our coworkers and say, girl, can you believe that?
Right.
We vent a little bit. All of us do. All of us do. And you got a gun and I got a gun. And it's like, what did you say? What did you say? Now we got beef. And we're the good guys.
Exactly.
So the scenario makes no sense to me. Makes none.
And so I wanted to pivot. So we were talking about bringing God into our lives, loving on ourselves and on each other. And I see you stretching, Mr. Harp. So let's talk about it. So movement and fitness. How does movement benefit us in terms of keeping us healthy and fit?
Circulation. Got to keep that blood flowing. So movement, that circulation, you got to keep those joints moist so you can bend your knees. So you can bend your elbows. We don't want to get stiff in our shoulders. We don't want to get stiff. Now, many of us get stiff in our backs where we overextend ourselves. Where, of course, rest. If it gets too bad, see a doctor. Make sure that we're not damaging anything, and get a plan for a course of correction. But many of us naturally are going to get arthritis. It's part of the aging process. Now we can slow it down by moving and
Mm-hmm.
continuing to move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't want to let the swelling of our joints and then the stiffening of our joints to where now we can't move.
Right.
And arthritis is real.
Mm-hmm.
Arthritis is natural and it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And once it sets in, it's there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. But many of us can have arthritis in different places and suffer from different areas. So what we want to do is we want to be careful and know our bodies. So if we're suffering from arthritis in our knees, and we'll find out where our flex point is, so we can find out how far we can flex.
Mm-hmm.
We find out how far we can take a certain movement,
Mm-hmm.
and then we slowly move with those movements. Okay. And once we get better at it, we keep going. We'll move it up. We'll pick up the pace. We'll change directions. I do this when I teach in fitness classes
Okay.
to try to keep people moving, to keep those knees moving up, keep those arms going, and to be able to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, what we want to do is keep the muscles limber. Want to keep those joints moist. But if you're having any arthritis pain, and if it's okay for you to take some aspirin, aspirin can help.
Mm-hmm.
An NSAID, one of those non-steroid pain relievers.
Mm-hmm.
But something like that could help you to manage the some of the pain that our arthritis can cause. Okay. Again, this is something that it's in part of the aging process. All right. Many of us will experience it, but we don't have to experience it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So our younger folks, we have to get more active. Okay. Arthritis does not have to set in your 30s, in your 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But we want to go ahead and keep moving. Keep moving. That's the biggest thing, is to keep moving. Doesn't have to be fast, but keep moving. Walk. If you can jog, jog. And if you can run, run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can do all three in one workout. Walk, jog, and run.
Absolutely.
Right. And but what we're going to do is we want to make sure that we have some nice, comfortable shoes. We want to make sure that we have some shoes that are appropriate for the activity. So you don't want to run in basketball shoes.
Right.
You don't want to play basketball in slides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What we want to do is we want to play in appropriate shoes so that we can keep our body aligned, so that we won't injure ourselves or take those injuries into arthritis.
Absolutely.
Okay. Once again, it's a natural part of the aging process, but it doesn't have to limit you. Does not have to limit you. And if it does, let's find out what our limits are
Mm-hmm.
and to keep moving.
Should we add weights and resistance to our movement? Does that help also strengthen our muscles?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. With any kind of resistance training, doesn't have to be weights.
Mm-hmm.
Could be resistance bands, ropes. There are machines that you can use that aren't necessarily fall into weights. But there are things that you can do for resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yes, you definitely want to add a resistance workout to all of your workouts to build muscle, to strengthen muscle. Okay. You want to also keep that elasticity.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to continue to pump that weight, move that iron, get your hands above your head, reach down to the floor. You want to be able to continue to do those things, and resistance training will be able to help you with that.
Good. What about low impact exercises like swimming or something that's supposed to be easy on your joints? Is that something that you would recommend for people who are struggling?
Definitely. Water exercises, I would recommend anybody with arthritis that's suffering from acute stages of arthritis. Water water workouts would be best for you. Okay. It is low impact and you can do some high impact things under the water.
Okay.
So you can run in the water, and the resistance of the water is a resistance workout.
Mm.
Okay. You're not going to move very fast because you're underwater, but you can still get all the motions of running. You can work your arms, you can work your legs, and you're just running underwater. And if you ran from one end of the pool to the other, just 4 times, that's 2 laps. Okay. Then swim. Swimming is great cardiovascular, great for your heart, great for your circulation. It's a great cardiovascular exercise. And it's low impact. You will be using your muscles. You will be using your back muscles, your triceps, your bicep muscles. You'll be kicking, so you'll be using your calves and your hamstrings. Or you're definitely going to be getting a nice workout, a resistance workout with swimming, but it's low impact.
Okay.
So it's not strenuous. It's not something that's going to damage your body, and you can take it at your own pace.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show and talking to us about movement and arthritis. And as always, covering our current topics. We had a lot to talk about today. But before we get out of here, tell us how we can follow you on social media and tell us how we can connect with you.
All right. The name's Eric Harp on all your social platforms. You can find me on my email at ericharp9@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Harp, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show. We know we'll see you next month for another exciting topic, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis, and I look forward to seeing you as well. Goodbye, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning into the Kim B. Davis Show. You know, I'm your host, Kim B. Davis. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere, Twitter, everywhere on social media. And you can learn more about, or you can see this show at youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Kimberly Batchelor Davis is spelled, or Bachelor is spelled BATCHELOR. You can hear this show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Wisdom. And you can learn more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. Thank you again for tuning in. And as always, remember, be magnificent.